I'm gonna teach you that same system. I've been talking to our inner circle coaching community about this for the past couple of months, that I've always struggled to teach lead generation here because I've made excuses for you. And that's not fair to you, right? The excuses that I made for you is that I've been doing this for a while, I have an audience, I'm good at video, I have a media buying team that helps out. I'm not gonna make those excuses for you anymore, because the fact of the matter is that there's a million ways to do it, but there's a way that you can build long-term equity in your business, that you can build sustainability in your business, that you can build predictability in your business, and you can build better lead quality in your business. So we're gonna talk about what that is, but let's just kind of go through what the state of, first and foremost, as we all know, the market's saturated, right? I said this earlier, you can shake a tree outside and you're gonna get 15 agencies falling out right now. You're under constant pressure of pricing, right? There's always somebody who's undercutting your pricing. There's always somebody who can do it cheaper, and frankly, probably the same thing that you're doing. That's an issue with an offer. It's an issue with your positioning, but it's also an issue with your marketing, because when you do cold outbound, for example, you add extra steps to your sales cycle, right? You have to tell them who you are, what you do, why you're important, and they hold all the leverage in the relationship. We're gonna break that down for why that doesn't work. But the market's mature, is pretty much everyone here is selling SEO or does SEO in some facet, maybe a small fraction do Facebook ads. It's mature, man. It's not a silver bullet anymore. It doesn't work for every business anymore. Pretty much every business owner that has a website knows about SEO, right? So it's not this new shiny object anymore. There's really no shiny objects out there. TikTok for a while was maybe kind of a hot thing, but it's very mature. And when that happens, it gets harder to convince people to resell people. They've probably been burned by an agency before, right? We've probably underserviced some clients, maybe to no fault of our own. But when you combine these two things, it makes it very difficult to attract, find, go out and cold call on people, get referrals from people. It just adds steps to the process. Not everyone's in market for services, right? That's another thing. When we think about a funnel here, right? When I do this exercise with my legal clients, I talked about it a little bit earlier, it's very different. The legal acquisition funnel is very simple. There are a lot of people at the bottom of the funnel searching for legal services that have a high propensity to convert, not just to a lead, but to convert into a client. When we compare and contrast that to agency services, yes, there's people searching Google for SEO agency near me, but those people are mostly tire kickers. It's actually kind of a weird phenomenon, right? That if you I've ranked for Miami SEO agency for the past 12 years and we've never had a client in Miami. So go figure, because if you deconstruct what that search is, it's actually somebody beginning their search, not somebody ending it, right? It's somebody who's just beginning it. They're opening up. They probably don't even know what they want out of a scope of work. They're just like, I have a website, I need SEO, I'm talking to a bunch of agencies, what can you do for me? It's not the conversation that you want to have. So the people that are actually in market for our services, we often confuse this with our clients when we are working with an HVAC company or, again, a law firm. We kind of put one and one together and think it's the same. The agency search process is very, very different than other industries that you're likely working with. On top of the fact that a lot of the people probably can't afford your services. So basically what we have here, the state of the agency lead generation, is a very, very small pool of people that are in market, that are seeking services, that are open to proposals, and can afford to pay your services, and are also not completely jaded by the amount of crap agencies out there that have just taken their money and walked away with it over the years. So trying to capture these people with outbound sales, other tactics is really hard because it has a very low success rate for going from lead to client. This is something that I'm going to be talking a lot more about in the blueprint as we continue to progress through modules in the future, which is sales. I've churned through 4 salespeople in the last year. And I was always looking at them being like, you have a low close rate, only I can do it, blah, 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 whatever. But the fact of the matter was, it was an issue with the lead. The agencies are just such a unique industry in so many different ways, in that we personally, I don't want to be spending time sending out proposals that I don't think have a high likelihood of closing, right? I don't want to be chasing down leads. I have engaged cold outbound people. We're currently working with an agency, JJ. I actually brought him in and interviewed him. He's been going through our list of people that have gotten proposals from us. I'm not talking about like give us an email. I'm not talking about people that have booked a sales call. I'm talking about people that we've sent a proposal to after they've requested it. There's 150 of those people over the last 2 years. You know how many people we closed from calling them again and trying to re-engage them? 0. Not a single one. It's a very, 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 and JJ's amazing. If you've ever worked with JJ, he's probably one of the smoothest salespeople. We actually did a couple calls on the phone with me because he was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like I'm getting in touch with these people. We're getting connects and everything. He's like, but I'm having trouble bringing them back in. And it's an issue with the lead quality. It's an issue with timing. It's an issue with people that are in market. Maybe they're working with an agency. There's a whole bunch of different factors that are in play here, right? So the point is that despite the fact that we think that everyone with a website might need SEO or might need marketing services, the market's actually much smaller for your service than you think. This is also a point of emphasis for yourself that don't kick yourself if you don't feel like you're generating enough leads, if you don't feel like you're doing enough. It's not necessarily you, it's just kind of the state of everything. When we factor all these things into play, the massive amounts of competition, the jaded market, the lack of SEO being a silver bullet for businesses anymore, all these factors are working against you. So it's gotten harder to generate leads, it's getting harder to close deals. So we really want to hyper-focus in on the best thing. And the best way to do that is to position yourself as an authority. Do some work, some market. The amount of people that come into this program, done multiple surveys here. Over the past 8 years, we've probably worked with over 6,000 agencies, right? Give or take, through trainings, through coaching, through all the different programs that we've had. And we've surveyed them all. And we have a 50,000 person email list. Number one by far is lead generation. Raise your hands here. How many people struggle to generate leads for their business? They want to generate more leads. It's about right. About 80% of agencies usually will admit that. And I am too. I want more leads too, right? And I get enough leads, but I still want more. And like I said, I've struggled to put that into this program because I can only teach and coach what I do. I don't do outbound. That's why our outbound module sucks. People have gone through it before and they're like, they're asking me questions about it. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get rid of that module because I can't. Does anybody like getting random phone calls in the middle of the day when they're working? Nobody does. Cold email can work, don't get me wrong, but the amount of contacts that you have to burn through, the amount of emails that you have to send, you got to spin through servers, you got to come up with offers, you got to put all sorts of guarantees on it. And then if you do book a call, guess what? Then they show up and they're like, who that for you? And like, how did you get on my calendar? You need to pitch me. Like, tell me why you're on my calendar. It's a whole different energy, right? The best way to market yourself, the best way to generate leads, the best way to grow your business is to be seen as an authority. I talked about this before, right? Like, that is it. Everything that you've seen me doing, the reason why everyone is sitting here in this seat is because of this exact process, this exact framework. It works here at the Blueprint, it works at our agency, it works in my consulting, it works for every business that I've ever worked on in the B2B space, but especially agencies. Also, all those things factored in, this is what I want to try and teach you guys before we end up here, is how you can position yourself as an authority within your space. So just kind of piggybacking off what I said here, right? We oftentimes confuse marketing, right? And we're all marketers here. We all sell marketing services to clients, but we often put lead generation on the back of marketing. And that's why it fails. That's why we stop doing it. That's why we don't spend enough money. That's why we quit too soon. That's why we blame algorithm. That's why we do all these things, because the role of marketing is not to generate leads. The role of marketing is to generate interest, right? The role of sales is actually to generate leads. The role of sales is to capture that demand. The role of marketing is to build that demand. So when you reframe the goal of what we're trying to do here, it's to build interest, it's to build awareness, it's to build reach. And again, it's to get people, it's to get your messaging in front of people. Because again, when you think about how bombarded these prospects are, when you think about how jaded that these prospects are, the only way to break through that is if they see you as a true expert in the field. And to do that, we need to get in front of them multiple times with value-adding content. I don't want to go all Gary Vee on you here, but it's going to be a part of this process. So often we convince these things, and another thing that I see is we just quit too soon, right? Like I make these recommendations for people and they stop doing it. So great marketing takes time. It takes work. It takes repetition. It takes patience. It takes testing. It's not something that's going to happen in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Like I'm going to push you guys to do this for 12 months. If you do this, what I teach you here for 12 months, you're going to wake up in a year in a completely different position. I know it's hard. I know it's a lot of work, but damn it, running this business is hard. Getting harder. It's getting more competitive. The demand for what you do is waning. And I know that's tough to hear, but it's a fact, right? The demand for what we do is no longer what it once was. So people aren't coming to us in droves. We have to work a little bit harder to do that. And if you can do this too, this is how you build a moat around your business. This is how you protect your business. This is how you make sure that no matter what happens, people know who you are and people are coming to do something. And we couple this with the positioning stuff. This is why I'll talk about it next slide, but like I'm actually hoping Google gets blown up. I don't know what's going to happen with this new presidency in terms of Google being called a monopoly, but like Google's, I don't know if you know, this is on the verge of potentially being broken up, and I'm hoping that happens. And I'll talk about more why in a second, but it bears fruit, right? So leads come to you, and this gives you leverage. So like going back to outbound, right? When you have to chase people down, you're adding additional steps to your sales cycle. You're having to add in who you are. You're having to put a whole presentation deck. You're trying to have a conversation with someone just to get them excited and pitch them on the value of SEO or whatever it is that you do. The conversion rate is extremely low, and that burns you out. It burns out your sales team. You end up pointing the blame at them, just like I did, for saying you have a low close rate, you're not doing your job, I have to do this myself. But then I realized when I fully went all in on marketing, and I've been marketing the Blueprint for years, but this is more about the agency. When I fully went all in the legal space, and when I fully went all in on marketing, my specific YouTube channel, my specific podcast, our specific website, our social profiles, the momentum, the conversations, the quality is night and day. Also allowed me, and this is what I'm gonna talk about in future boot camps, to do all the sales myself. I have a sales admin who helps me out. She does proposals, she does the analysis. I take 2 30-minute Zoom calls and I'm closing $15,000 a month deals. And that's all it takes. Why? Because they're coming to us. They've seen 4 of my videos. They've seen our ads. If you can get somebody to sit down and watch a 15-minute video, it's the timeshare model. That's why timeshares still get sold today. You know you're getting what you 2 hours, you're going to Vail for a weekend, but you got to sit through a 2-hour presentation. You know you're getting sold something, and you still walk out of there with a timeshare. One of the worst investments known to the American people, and you're still walking out with one. And that's because if you can hold somebody's attention for that amount of time and get somebody to watch the right type of content, the propensity of them, the likelihood of them becoming a lead, and not just a lead, but a warmed up lead, a good lead, is very, very high and very, very likely. And that's much better than having to chase people down, right? So they come in warmed up, they're easier to close. And this is really important too, sales cycles are shorter, right? So like I just said, when you're building sales teams, and we've done that here at the Blueprint before, it takes time, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But when you're doing marketing the right way and leads are coming to you and they're warmed up, it's not that you're having one call closes, but you're going from analysis to proposal within a week, right? And you're able to shorten that decision period time, and you don't have to beg people to work with you. That's kind of the main thing to me. I think leverage in all relationships is extremely important, especially in business. And when people are walking into the door knowing who you are, you have all the leverage in that relationship, right? So just a little bit of convincing on marketing. And finally, too, I use this hook in our marketing here at the Blueprint all the time. Like, you sell marketing service, you should probably be pretty good at marketing, right? I get why you don't. You're busy, you don't have the time, you're not good on camera, et cetera, et cetera. We're gonna talk about all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is that if you wanna win, this is what you gotta do. And this is what I'm recommending you do. You can cold email, you can cold call, you can do all that stuff. I'm not gonna tell you not to do that, but don't ask me how to generate leads anymore, because I'm gonna tell you here. So let's talk about the foundations of agency marketing, great agency marketing. So first and foremost, I'm talking about this again because it's that important. You can't market your business without a niche or a target audience. I mean, if we think about it this way, right? If you sell, SEO and you want to follow this system, if you want to do outbound, right? If you want to create content for social media, if you want to run ads, who are you target? Business owners? It's too broad, And then you're just getting drowned out. You're talking about SEO. And again, you're only going to attract other SEOs and marketers. If you want to start a program like the Blueprint and sell to agencies, talk about SEO. But if you want to sell direct to consumer, whether that's HVAC or whoever it is that you want to work with, you got to have the niche. You got to have the niche right. And the messaging is super, super important. I'm going to break down how to build messaging. I'm going to break down how to write ads, how to build content. Tomorrow, we're going to go through all that stuff. But even if you want to go and post on LinkedIn, if you want to run ads, Leah can tell you, Jan can tell you, basically where these algorithms are at is like, you don't have to put targeting in anymore. Your messaging just has to be speaking to those people. Your videos just have to be speaking to those people. And it's incredibly easy to do, but you got to break down that mental barrier of working with a single vertical. So another thing that I know you don't want to hear, you have to create content. I know you've heard that before. I know Gary Vee's been talking about this for 5+ years now. I know it's annoying. I know you know this. Content is the asset that allows you to do any sort of marketing. Even if you're doing sales, I mean, like, content, you need collateral, you need case studies, you need actual content, right? So content is the asset. I call it the glue a lot of times. No matter what type of marketing we're doing, if it's advertising, posting on LinkedIn, whatever it is, blog posting, you need content. So a lot of this strategy is going to be focused on how to create the right content. And like I said, it's different. I already covered this a little bit, but there's just a lot less ready to hire leads out there than there is in other verticals that you're probably working with your client. What we do as search, like if you were to look at a marketing funnel, search sits at the bottom of the funnel. Why? Because people are going and being like, I need a lawyer, I want to buy black shoes, whatever that is. They're putting themselves in market. So as SEOs, we're used to kind of like bottom funnel, high intent marketing. And that's, I think, why marketing yourself and marketing your agency is so challenging for a lot of us, because we're so used to focusing on bottom funnel opportunities that we don't realize 99% of the content you should be creating is top funnel content. It's problem solving content for your target audience that really has nothing to do with what you do, but everything to do with them.
Hey, Ryan here. Hope you liked that video. If you want more, check out these two videos right here on the screen.